I bought this 2013 Mac Pro in 2020, and here's why. So what's up guys, Faria, and welcome to Shades of Tech. This is the 6.1 trashcan Mac Pro and will be my main editing machine for the next couple of years. But before you start commenting it's a really bad machine, a really bad value, let me explain. Yeah, this is a 2013 machine, it's a 7 years old Mac, but you have to keep in mind that I was using a 2013 maxed out iMac 27-inch. So as far as my experience goes, I definitely think this is the perfect Mac for me. Probably not for you, but for me it was the best choice in terms of specs, thermal design, upgradability and price. In the next video we'll benchmark this Mac Pro against my old iMac. It's a base model with an Intel Xeon E5 1620v2 3.7 to 3.9 4-core 8 thread, 256 gigs of PCIe NVMe storage, 64 gig of 1866 MHz DDR3 memory, and the base dual GPU AMD FirePro D300. This was a really good deal with a huge 64 gig, so I saved already a couple $100. You're probably wondering why I choose the base GPU over the better performance D500 or D700 with 12 combined gigs of RAM. And this is a really good question. There are three main reasons. The first is for thermals, because the thermal design we'll address in a sec is kind of the bottleneck where Apple puts itself in terms of upgradability of this Mac. Since I am planning to swap the CPU with a blazing 12 core, I will be adding a lot of it to the system, and I have heard that those two GPU kind of suffer the thermal problems and breakdown. Also, my workflow doesn't need that much of a GPU. With this D300 I barely reach 50% combined, and also the price, cause those GPU come with 6 or bigger core Mac Pro that cost around $1,700 to $2,100, and with that extra price I can set up an eGPU with the latest AMD card. Design and thermals. Another reason why I choose this Mac Pro is the architecture, both from aesthetic and thermal point of view. The design is really beautiful, and you must admit that Apple worked very hard to get the heavy machined aluminum cover, and the triangular shape is very appealing. Take one sec to appreciate this design. Now my desk setup is super clean and elegant, and it's an improvement from the 2K to a full 4K display. But it's not only beautiful, the vertical design and the dual GPU structure is designed to help the single fan with the natural cooling, taking air from the bottom where it's colder and pushing up the hot air, creating a very big heat exchange with the internal components. Also, the fan is bigger than the one in the iMac and spins slower, but the temperature reached are impressive. This machine stays at 40 degrees C idle with the fan not audible, jumps up to 60 to 70 with continuous Cinebench testing, and stays surprisingly at 80 while exporting in Final Cut Pro 10. My iMac reached the 100 degrees Celsius mark, so this means a bigger longevity for all the components if there are better cooling and no thermal throttling at all. I know this cooling is designed for a 12-core CPU and 2 D700, so with the dual D300 I should be safe and sound. Also, the fan at maximum frequency is audible, but it's not noisy. Upgradability. Is this machine future-proof enough? Well, for me it is. I edit 4K 30 videos with a few LUTs, color grading, text and effect, and my workflow won't change until I upgrade to 8K. I already have 64 GB of RAM, and at maximum load I only reach 32 usage, and the GPU is used at 25% of its raw power. The areas where this machine lacks for my usage are storage and CPU. So I will just upgrade the SSD, which is now user upgradable with the OWC or a Pro X2, or a standard NVMe SSD with an adapter, 1 TB for $100, and I will pass also to an overkill 12-core CPU with $250, which performs very similar to the base 2019 Mac Pro and the base 2017 iMac Pro that cost from 5,000 up. What I want to tell you is that you probably won't need this machine for you. The late 2013 maxed out iMac will be already overkill, but for me, a prosumer YouTuber, it wasn't simply enough. YouTube is an hobby, so time is not money, but for me, time is time. The faster I am able to make videos, the more time I can spend with my family and my wife. Probably with the same price I could have made a 16-core Macintosh, but I just want running macOS with Final Cut Pro on a reliable machine. And I can't exclude that in 7 years I will buy the 2019 Mac Pro for half of the price and upgrade it to the 28-core 4TB SSD, dual GPU, afterburner, and so on. So in the next video we'll benchmark this really elegant machine against my maxed out iMac, and we'll see the best price to performance for you. Thanks so much for watching me so far. Be sure to like or dislike this video, comment and subscribe. And as always, stay tuned on Shades of Tech. Ciao!